Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 117 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. We're working on spiritual well-being, spiritual health, the month of April 2023. And today we're working on it, actually going over the goal process that we identified in January. We looked at a bunch of different ways to deal with goals and set goals and goal frameworks. And we kind of created our own 7-step process. And so the end of each month, as we're focusing on different areas and aspects of a life framework that I've used for decades, with the exception of communication and confidence, which I added in 2021 following the pandemic, I've used this life framework to kind of create a modicum of control, a modicum of intentionality in the way I set goals, the way I do things, the way I get some of the chaos that is in all of our lives out of my life and have a little bit more of a directed, intentional way of doing things, especially when it comes to goal setting. So today we're talking about the fourth step in this goal setting process, and that is to design and devise a strategy and a plan. We need a strategy and a plan in order to achieve our goals and objectives. So it's interesting as we go through developing a strategy and plan, the steps and the process of developing a strategy and plans for achieving a goal are really the same as the entire goal process. It's almost identical steps. There's 6 steps in the strategic planning process that I will share quickly and briefly with you, but there's 7 in our goal process. So we're focusing on our spiritual goal. My spiritual goal for this particular exercise is to start a small business or a nonprofit that helps people with chronic pain. And then we identified what that was. We created a SMART goal out of it. Step 2. Step 3, we decided to break that down into smaller pieces because we want to use those smaller pieces to help identify resources required, milestones, things that we need to do in order to make sure that the little steps along the way to our big goal happen. And so, for example, one of the things I'm going to do is create a group and get at least 500 people in that group and start to engage with them and create relationships in order to help them to relieve their chronic pain and get some of their problems with respect to chronic pain solved and dealt with. So what are the key elements of a strategy and a plan? Well, number 1, of course, you need to have and identify your goal. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Just shared that. 2, we want to break that into smaller pieces, which we did in step 2. 3, we want to identify the resources required. And this is actually step 6 of our goal process, but it doesn't matter what order as long as we do all the steps. 4th, we want to have a timeline with specific milestones on it. Again, that is what we'll do tomorrow as part of step 5 of our goal process. Okay, we broke it into little pieces. We've got an overarching strategy and plan for what we want to do and how we're going to do it. Well, now we need to identify the different milestones and the time that we have to achieve each of those milestones in order to get the goal that we want and create what we want in our life. Step 5 of the strategy process is have contingency plans when obstacles and challenges come up. Why? Because they're gonna. If we think that we're gonna go from A to Z in achieving our goal, and there's each letter is a step along the way, and we're never gonna have a problem or a challenge or something that doesn't go exactly like we want it to, we are setting ourselves up for failure. So we want to have contingency plans for the most likely things that could derail us in place, so when the thing happens to derail us, it doesn't derail us. We actually have a plan, and we just, it's like you hit a fence. Well, do you just stop your journey, or do you find a way over or around or under or through the fence? You find a way through the fence, right? Or if you're going on a long trip and you hit road construction, do you just turn around and go home, or do you find a new route? We find a new route. 6, we want to have regular evaluations and reviews of how's it going, evaluate our progress so far, because guess what, all the milestones we set, the little milestones and timelines we set along the way, I guarantee the chances are you're not going to hit every single one of them. Sometimes you'll be early, sometimes you'll be a day or 2 late, but the point is to just keep us moving and progressing forward toward what it is that we want. So what are we going to do today? Our action item is to think about our overarching strategy of how we're going to achieve the goal and objective that we set. I already know that if I'm starting a nonprofit or a business, there's some things I need to find out about starting a nonprofit because I've never done one of those before, but I'm sure and confident I can figure it out by doing a little research. So that's one thing. Do I want to do a nonprofit, or do I want to set up just a regular small business? Do I want to set it up? And then all the questions that go involved in that, all the steps that are involved in setting up a little business. And I've done that, like hundreds of times before, and helped other people do it hundreds of times before. So I know the steps. I have a process and of the small business, but I don't for nonprofit. So what are the differences? What are the advantages, disadvantages of each? Make a decision, choice, move forward and do it. And then each of the steps. So our action item today is to think of your overarching strategy and just share in the comments below. This is my strategy. I'm going to have an online brand and group strategy, or I'm going to do a marketing strategy, or I'm going to do whatever it is that you're going to do as your overarching strategy to achieve this goal and objective. Now, with spiritual goals and objectives, it's not necessarily a big, complicated strategy. It's like, hey, I'm going to join a community group, or I'm going to join a religious organization, or I'm going to volunteer once a month at Habitat for Humanity, or feeding the hungry, whatever it might be for you. My favorite is with my mom at St. Vincent de Paul down in Fredericksburg, Texas. I love going there and helping and volunteering with her. It's fun. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't require perfect eyesight. It did a little bit. They got mad at me for not sizing things and sorting by size, and I'm like, can't read the labels. So how about if I just do this part of what I can do, and then somebody else follows up and helps me? And that works out fine. Once you explain to people that we do what we can do with what we've got right now, and sometimes we need to ask for help. All right. Any questions about this? Any questions about strategy or plans or ideas to achieve and move toward getting your spiritual goal this year? Hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Have a great day.